Hey everyone, we're excited to show you how we did a dirty pour over a concrete surface. We used black, turquoise, khaki, coffee, and brass. You'll see it all here at Ligari Products.
Okay guys, getting ready to do the dirty pour. Primer's already been down. We got our weather stripping on the edge because we are doing it so thick, we don't want it to run off the floor that we're coating. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna lay down some clear, which is gonna look black once it goes over the black primer. And that's gonna help the dirty pour kind of level out and flow out, because I'm not gonna blend it, swirl it, nothing. We're gonna be pouring right out of buckets to get some really cool effects without even touching the resin. So here's my clear. I'm gonna pour this out, squeegee it on the floor, and then we'll start the dirty pour. All right, so now I'm gonna take the squeegee and just spread this out over the whole floor, and then we'll start the dirty pour process. All right, so the reason we do a thin layer of epoxy first is so the metallics, the dirty pour, when we pour it out, there's no surface tension keeping that from flowing out easy. So this clear, or you could do pigmented or whatever, right? It looks pigmented black even though we did clear because we have black primer. But even doing like, say white or something, it'll push that out and you'll get some really cool veins through your dirty pour. So that's the reason we do a thin layer of epoxy first so the dirty pour can flow out evenly. And if you're doing a dirty pour floor, you need about 3 times as much as our regular floors, the amount of epoxy. So say you're doing a floor where you need 6 gallons on a regular metallic epoxy floor, you're gonna need 18 gallons on that floor to do an actual dirty pour without having to move the resin around.
We're gonna show you how to mix a dirty pour kit right now to get ready to pour onto the floor. So we have our 5 individual colors. We got turquoise, black, coffee, khaki, and brass. But what we wanna do is we wanna make 5 different batches of all of these colors because that's the beauty of a dirty pour. So what we're going to do is we're gonna kind of mix and match and pour them into one bucket and then get them to Tyler. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so there's one batch. We're just gonna do that 5 times and get these ready, and then we'll hand them right to Tyler because you don't want it sitting in the bucket too long.
when you're doing the dirty pours like this, it's better to pour out as many small beads as you can instead of big piles. If I just went around and dumped out big piles like this, you're not gonna get as much design or effects in it because you have such big piles poured out, and it's also not gonna level out as easily. So we don't have very much space to fill in now. And once this levels out over the next 2 hours, it's gonna fill a lot of this in and it'll look like an amazing completed floor. So before I get off it, I'm just gonna spray clear isopropyl on it, which will help pop any bubbles and create some really cool effects as well. And I'm just gonna be spritzing the surface, barely pulling the trigger. And we might come back in about 20 minutes and hit it one more time. So I'm just looking for those medium-sized droplets of isopropyl. And then what Justin's doing is he's just brushing in this outer edge. But we can always come back and check it because again, there's a lot of these piles and beads still are gonna move so much.